All right, so about a month ago, I catch our 9 and 11-year-old boys sledding off the snow-covered garage roof on a piece of cardboard. Idiots. And as I'm bringing them back in the house, I recall how maybe 15 years before, my wife had caught our grown sons doing the same thing off the house roof. And then I remember all the stupid, risky things I did when I was a kid. And that was like, 50 plus years ago, before, during the baby boom, when there were swarms of kids and, there weren't hovering parents and there wasn't always an adult around to tell you, maybe it's not a good idea to jump off the garage roof into a 3-foot pool. All the risks we took, it was amazing. It's a wonder any of us survived. I mean, I thought I was going to die a few times just playing baseball. This game called strikeouts. Back then, all those schools used to have these rectangles painted on the various parts of the exterior of the building. Kids had painted them out. Nobody thought anything of it. You painted a rectangle on there because you needed a strike zone. So to play strikeouts, when you'd stand in front of that strike zone, your buddy be back a ways pitching this rubber baseball at you, trying to hit the strike zone, strike you out. Hence the name. But where we played, there was also the understanding that if you're going to play, you better know how to climb the building. Because we played like in this little alcove, so if you stood in front of that strike zone, this is at Kościuszko Elementary School on the west side here, if anybody knows it, or Kosciuszko for the non-Polish kids. On the left was this one wing of the building. It was a low building, didn't go out very far. It was a powerhouse. We called it the first deck. Behind you is a gym, much taller. We call that the second deck. And on your right, going straight out, long and tall, was the school itself, which we called the third deck. So I'm about maybe 11 years old, playing with a couple friends, and it starts to rain, just a little drizzle. And if we had any sense, we'd have called it a day and headed on home, but no, we're 11-year-old boys. And sure enough, I fallen off straight up to the third deck. Shit. Now, there's various ways to climb the building. Older kids would teach younger ones, and you'd pass it on to the younger ones. And for some reason, I decided to climb the quickest way, directly up to the third deck, but also the most dangerous. So, all the schools back then, all the public schools, used to have cages on their windows. The good old days. These cages were like chain link fences, except more tightly woven, and it was a thicker gauge metal. And the openings were just the right size for little kids to get their fingers in there and to get a good grip. So you'd get a grip on that cage, you'd plant one of your sneakers flat up against the wall and sort of sit back, then you'd jump up and plant your other sneaker against it, and you're sitting back, holding on, and then you'd move one hand up, get a hold of the cage, walk your other foot up. The other hand up, walk your other foot, and you walk up the side of the building nice and slow, like old school Batman, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And my sneakers were a little wet, though, because it was raining and they were slipping, and if I had any sense, I'd have headed back down and waited for another day, but no. So I climbed back up. I climbed all the way up to the top. Now here's the dangerous part. There's like a 3.5-foot overhang. So what you got to do is get a really good grip with one hand, and when you think you're ready, let go with the other hand, throw it out there, and reach around that overhang and grab onto the little metal rim on the roof. So I let go and I throw it out, and the cage comes swinging open. Shit, I didn't even know this thing was on hinges. And I quickly get my hand back on there as my feet slip off, and I'm dangling there above the ground. And my buddies down below are laughing. They think it's hilarious. So I start swinging my feet, and I get the thing to swing close and latch into place. Now, if I had any sense, I'd have counted my blessings and headed on back down. Thank God I didn't die, but no. I get back into position at the top there, and I throw my hand out there. The cage stays closed. I get hold of that rim. I got a really good grip. You're right around to the second knuckle, which is about as good as you're going to get. Now, here's where you got to make your commitment. You got to let go of this hand. All right? And I've got one chance to do it right. And you throw this hand out there, and I reach around, and I grab it. Great, I got it. Now I'm 3.5 feet away from the building, so my feet come swinging out, and I'm swinging back and forth, which is good. That's what you want. You're swinging faster and faster till you kick one leg off, throw the other leg over the side, start to pull myself up, and my sneakers are wet, right? So it slips off and jerks me. Oh, I managed to hang on. And I'm dangling there above the ground. And of course, my buddies down below think this is really hilarious now. And I'm looking down, I'm maybe 25 feet above the concrete. But as I look down, it's starting to look like 50, 100 feet. And over the years, I'd only heard of one person who'd fallen and been carried away by an ambulance. But as I look down, I figure I have enough energy to try one more time, and I'm thinking, shit, if I fall, my mom's gonna kill me. So I start swinging my legs again, and I kick off, throw my foot over it, I start to pull myself up, my arms are shaking, my leg is shaking, my ankle gets over the edge, my knee gets over the edge, my elbow, I squirm up onto the top, and I roll over onto my back, never so happy to be lying on a solid surface in my life. Just as the clouds open up and the rain comes pouring down. Finally, I open my eyes and I look to my left, and I see my ball, and 2 more balls. And I'm like, yes! And quickly, my 11-year-old brain forgets that. A minute ago, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And I think, this is my lucky day. Now, I'd like to say, that's the last time as a kid I ever risked so much for something so stupid as a 49-cent rubber baseball. But if I said that, I'd be lying. So don't tell my little ones.